All right. So today we're talking about HTML. HTML. Now we'll go through this manual to guide you to kickstart your HTML journey. Now HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is just like any other text file containing these markup tags. So these markup tags are responsible in describing the content of the web page. Describe the structure of the web page. So these HTML markup tags, the web browser understands what this HTML markup tag is and will display it accordingly. So just like we said, HTML files are just like any other files. You can use any editor. You can use even Notepad, even any editor to write your HTML file. But for this tutorial, we'll be using Sublime. We'll be using Sublime text. We're using Sublime text. So let's quickly get into the anatomy of what HTML tag. Now, we mentioned markup tags, right? Now, this tag has an opening tag and closing tag. An opening tag and closing tag. But in some cases, we have some self-closing tags. We have some self-closing tags. We should talk about them later. So this tag has got an opening and closing tag. And how can you know an opening and closing tag? Let me open my Sublime now. Now, for example, an opening tag starts with a less than, then the name of the tag. Let us say probably paragraph. We'll still get back to that. Then you need to close the tag, another less than, then forward slash, then the name of the tag too, then you close it. Now by doing this, let me increase the font. Now by doing this, you've closed a tag. This is what a tag. Now whenever you now put a content inside, like for example, this is a paragraph. So whenever I put a content inside, all together, both the tags and the content, they are known as elements. But most times people use it interchangeably. They use they refer to tags or elements that literally saying the same thing. So this is just a tag. A tag has what an opening tag and what and a closing tag. Now, as you can see, to differentiate between an opening tag and a closed tag, we have what a forward slash in between the less than and the what and the name of the tag. Okay, so let's go back to our manual. Okay, so now we also have what we call attributes. Attributes provides additional information about the content, you know, and attributes are written in name and value pairs, separated by what an equal sign. So we still get there. So just like this, for example, this element called paragraph, it has an attribute called what lang, which which is from the word language. Then an equal to sign, then the value. Now the value of an attribute is surrounded by a quote. Please take note of that. The value of an attribute is surrounded by what? A quote. Okay. So now let's quickly talk about the basic structure of an HTML. The basic structure of an HTML. Now, as you can see this code here, this snippet of code. Now, let me just quickly explain it. Let me just go through the stories and like. So let me just quickly explain. Now, this structure. Now, the first line which is known as doctype dot doctype HTML. Now, this first line tells the browser what type of HTML version are you using. What type of HTML version you are using. Now, this doctype HTML is a version, the HTML version 5. That's HTML5. HTML5. Now, then we have our HTML tag. We can see we have the word open tag and the closing tag. We have the open tag and the closing tag, and we also have an attribute. Now, inside this HTML tag, there are two important tags we must put inside: the head tag, which has the opening and the closing, then the body tag. Whatever you want to do, or whatever you want to display on your browser, must be written inside your body tag. Must be written inside your body tag. Now, under the head tag, we have the meta tag and we have the title page. I'll so let me create a file for us to see that. Let me create a file for us to see that. So now we'll start adding text to our web page. Start adding text to our web page. Now, first you open your Sublime. Let me delete this. You open your Sublime. When you open your Sublime, then you create a file. You create a file, new file. You create a new file, then you save it. Either you use Ctrl S or you go to File, then you save it. Now you must take note of where you are saving the file. So I'll go to my desktop. Where's my desktop? Okay. I'll create a folder. I'll call it HTML tutorial. HTML tutorial. So first save it. So I'll go inside the HTML tutorial. I'll create another. Okay, I don't need to create another file. So I want to start putting text inside my web page. Now, so let me talk about the headings first. So let me just save the file as heading. Let me just write heading. Now, whenever you want to save an HTML file, just like any other file, to differentiate between files is through their extension. For example, if you want to save a Word document file, it's saved in .doc. Now, because this is an HTML file, we need to save it with an extension called .html. So, when I save the file now, because the browser only recognizes an HTML file, so when I save the file, now we can now start writing our HTML code. Now, so let me start. Remember we said the first line we talked about the version. But one thing about the beauty of HTML is that whenever you type HTML, as you can see, just click enter and it's going to bring out what the structure of the HTML. The structure of the HTML. So let me give a title. This title tag, I will explain that. Now let me give a title called what? Heading. Heading. Now let me save it. Now I want to view it in my browser. So open in browser. Open in browser. Okay. Now open up. Now there is nothing here because we're yet to write anything. Now you see this place. Now it's because I wrote the title tag is responsible for this title tab here. This tab, as you can see, we are seeing. Sorry. Okay, so did you see that heading? Now the title tag is responsible for that. Then if I change it to something else, let me just say first web page, save, go back You see that it has changed. It has changed. Okay. So so now there are 6 levels of headings. There are what? 6 levels. Yeah, I said levels. Literally, there are 6 tags anyway for headings. Now we have H1 to what? H6. Now the difference between the H1 to H6 is the font size. Is that what? Font size. Is that font size. Is that font size. So let me just quickly show you H1. Now H1, I'll say this is heading what? Heading 1. H2, this is what? Heading 2. H H3, this is sorry, this is heading what? 3. Uh, H4, this is heading what? 4. Then H5, this is heading 5. Then lastly, H6, this is heading 6. Alright, so let me save it. Anytime you make changes on your file, anytime you make any change on your file, you need to save it always. Now let me tell you a trick. Now if you can, to know if your file is saved or not, you just see this where my cursor is. Now if your cursor, if this place is rounded like a circle here, then it means your file is not saved. But if it's X, if it's showing an X like sign, it means that your file is saved. Let me repeat that. Now if you see something like this that share on your sublime, like rounded, this means that the file is not saved. But when it shows something like X, it means that it is saved. So let me save it. Ctrl S to save it. Go to my browser and refresh. Yeah, awesome. Now, did you see that? Now, the difference between H1 to H6 is the different font sizes. Different font size. So most times we use H1 as the main heading, while subsequent subheadings we use the other um, headings like H2, H3, H4, H5, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. Okay, so